say that, I jinx.
Who was for this agenda? And especially if they start talking about it. You don't need another second patch it. Why, it only leaks over there, patch it over there. When it leaks over here, patch it over here.
Yeah, right?
When it leaks over there, patch it over there. That's a
Life is our responsibility right now.
That doesn't make sense. That's a yeah.
So how to go tonight?
What is it gonna cost us?
Is it?
When I spoke to him.
Yeah. Permanently. Permanently.
How big of a patch? This building's that big, it's that whole corner. This building's that big.
One that's the floor part?
Well, they're taking it down, decking?
Please stand for a moment of silence and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Westfield Leader, advertised on January 9, 2014. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and prominently posted on the municipal public bulletin board and filed in the office of the municipal clerk, informing the public of the time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. At this time, I will remind you to please turn off your cell phones and Blackberries, or put them on vibrate. If you must take a call, do so out in the hallway. It would be greatly appreciated. Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Mayor Tracki.
Here.
Council President Palmer.
Here.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Matthews.
Here.
Councilman Worsted.
Here.
Councilman Petroselli.
Here.
And Councilman Tedisco.
Here.
Minutes, please, Ms. Ariano.
Regular meeting of the Mayor and Council held on June 10, 2014. Workshop session of the Mayor and Council held on June 10, 2014. An executive session of the Mayor and Council held on June 10, 2014.
Are there any corrections or changes? May I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I didn't clearly hear who the first person was.
Moved it, and I seconded.
Okay.
That works. Sure. We had a tie.
Ms. Ariano, communications, please.
New Jersey State League of Municipalities Mayor's Fact Advisory.
Received and filed.
Karen McCarrick, displeasure with the Garwood Rock Street Fair.
Received and filed.
Sandra Bruns, notice of new position and last full day.
Received and filed.
Garwood Recreation Commission minutes of the meeting held on January 12th.
Received and filed.
Garwood Library Board of Trustees minutes of the meetings held on various dates.
Received and filed. This evening we have introduction of the ordinance. Ms. Ariano, please read the bond ordinance 14-11 by title only.
Yes, Mayor. Bond ordinance to authorize the 2014 road and drainage improvement project in, by, and for the Borough of Garwood in the County of Union, New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $300,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
May I have a motion to introduce bond ordinance 14-11?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Council President Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Martin. Councilman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Worsted.
Aye.
Councilman Petroselli.
Aye.
Councilman Tedisco.
Aye.
Why did we just do that?
That roll call you have to do.
We all just said aye, why do we need a roll call? There was a motion, there was a second, it was all in favor, aye, why do we then need a roll call?
Is that a bond ordinance?
Yeah.
You have to roll call on a bond ordinance. You don't need the all in favor.
Okay, that's what we don't need.
You have to have a roll call on a bond ordinance.
I'm with you, we can really go in favor of that first.
When you're done, because I don't know what to say, we don't need that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Committee reports. Police, Councilman Martin.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just noticed on the consent agenda, the ordinance reflecting the hiring of a new police officer for the second half of the year. Also along the lines of PBA contract negotiations, we have proposals sent out and we received the following responses: Sandro Pelletieri, Stephanie Schwartz, Alan Roth, Matthew Jacoby, and Joseph Hammond. On Monday the 16th, the negotiations committee interviewed each prospective attorney and then that submitted a proposal. The committee hereby recommends the adoption of Resolution 14231, also on the consent agenda, hiring Matthew Jacoby for a cost not to exceed $10,000 in accordance with the municipal budget, and a proposal dated June 11th, 2014. After the contract is signed, the committee will meet with the attorney to discuss strategies and timeline. Meeting with the PEA will commence early in September. The police committee hereby recommends the adoption of resolution number 14-232, appointing Dylan Cosgrove as patrolman, Class E, in the Garwood Police Department, effective August 1st, 2014, at an annual salary of $43,608 in accordance with the current PBA contract. That is all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. You have heard the report of police. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes, recommendations there be adopted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public House, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to take some of this out. But anyway, the Board of Health held its last meeting on June 18th. Like I mentioned earlier, we had some discussion about the rat issue. Moving along in other business, in March, 21 Garwood seniors attended the blood pressure screenings, followed by 22 Garwood seniors in April and 24 in May. The health department still has helmets available for children for bicycle riding, as it just received shipments in May. An audit in May of the 6th grade student immunization records at Lincoln Schools showed 100% compliance. In some other meeting news, the health officer discussed a health ranking by county in New Jersey that was recently released. Union County was in 10th place out of 21, which is where we usually fall in the past few years we've participated. The board introduced an ordinance at its last meeting to set a licensing fee for establishments that would like to sell electronic smoking devices. This is currently not regulated by the state. The annual fee would be $200. Westfield and Cranford just passed the same ordinance, as did Summit. Westfield and Cranford had it at the same fee, but Summit actually set the fee higher at $500 annually. Revenue from these fees will go to funding the tobacco age of sale enforcement program, which has been totally cut by the state for the past couple of years. And it will be up for a final vote at the board's next meeting, which will be in September. So that's all for my report, Mayor.
You have heard the report of Public Health. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Question, Mayor?
Yeah, any comments?
Councilman, who collects that fee?
It will be the, actually, I'm not too sure. Let me double check. I have their ordinance
Oh, okay.
with me. And I can see, it says, it might be the health department, but
And it could be, then it goes to, as you said, it goes to fund the tobacco, anti-tobacco campaign. So it's nothing to do with the borough.
right, pretty much, so.
Okay.
Forced by the health department and or other municipal officials in the borough of Garwood. Tina, maybe you know, but I believe
All Board of Health fees are collected by the borough and retained by the borough, so I don't know what would make this one any different.
Collected by the
Especially, I
borough,
don't know anything
retained
about
by the
this.
borough.
I don't know anything about this committee or this organization. I don't know, we would forward the money to them, is it a state program or?
I'd have to find out, I mean, there's a lot of language here, so I'm not gonna get into it tonight, but did you get a copy of this, Stephen? Did Kathleen give you a copy of the ordinance that they, introduced? Okay.
Because the reason I was asking, obviously, any way we can bring in additional revenue, and if we get the revenue, or the Board of Health gets the revenue, so I trust Tina will find that answer out.
Board of Health definitely doesn't get the money. The Westfield Board of Health definitely doesn't get it.
So if we get it, and as Tina's saying, well, how does that get distributed into that campaign?
Right.
We gotta
Well,
figure that out.
like, we collect a fee for marriage, a certain part of marriages, and we have a procedure to send it to the state. State's money.
Right, so I'm wondering whether neither you nor I know what this procedure is right
Right,
now.
yeah,
We'll find out.
Well, there is no fee currently, right? We would have to pay that fee.
yes.
Okay, is that being suggested that we pass that fee?
That's the
The
Board
board,
of
It's not by
Health
them, by the
ordinance.
mayor and council.
Right, it's done by the
Board
Board of Health, they've introduced it, so it will be advertised and, the public hearing would be at the.
So this is the regulations, those cigarettes? Those-
Yes, electronic cigarettes, basically,
Kathleen told me that they were talking about it, not they were doing it.
they introduced it,
Oh, they did,
but,
she didn't tell me.
you know, they did introduce it, but basically it's, if an establishment wants to sell the product, then they have to pay a fee.
Let me just back up a second.
Okay.
In our code, the code adopted by the mayor and council, there is regulation regarding the sale of cigarettes, et cetera, which I know was adopted by the mayor and council, because I remember it, you may remember it as well. Would it be the Board of Health's jurisdiction to regulate this type of thing? I mean, these businesses are are here in Garwood, and would, you know, if they paid $500 for selling these cigarettes, they would come to the mayor and council.
Without doing a whole lot of research, we might, off the top of my head, I'm gonna say that they have concurrent jurisdiction. There's both entities have the authority to pass ordinances. The subject matter is a subject matter over both of which, on which both of the entities have jurisdiction. So I would say that they could both, either or both could pass ordinances. We actually have some ordinances where we have municipal ordinances, things pertaining to zoning, there's Board of Health ordinances pertaining to keeping of chickens and so forth, or at least it used to be, so.
You know, my only suggestion, Sarah, would be that more information be provided to the governing body, because it is something that would come back to them if the business was upset,
Right.
you know, or whatever.
I understand that.
They should, I think, probably
Right.
know if business are gonna be.
Personally, I mean, again, I'm just their liaison, so I'm just reporting what I saw. But basically, their understanding was that in Cranford and in Westfield and Summit, and I believe even Mountainside, the Board of Health in those towns passed this on their own. So that's part of the reason why I think they felt so comfortable doing it. Doesn't make it right. I definitely will speak to them about it and follow through with this, but I'm just saying that's why I think they did what they did. There's no,
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
nothing,
bad, I just,
right.
you know. just-
No,
Make it
harmful
hard for me to
intentions
be
here,
like-
or, in terms of, who really has jurisdiction or anything like that, like,
I'm
It's
just
just a
confused.
process question, but.
Yeah, and I'm just confused because I just thought it was like kind of written in stone that any fee adjustment had to come through council.
Not all fees.
they
No,
not
do
everybody.
No, they
decide
have
certain
fees.
fees, they have
All kinds of
fees
fees.
that they've
They
adjusted.
have fees. The Board of Health is a, what's called a municipal corporation. It has its own, like I said, it has jurisdiction, it has
Like the
one
library.
of the few entities, even more authoritative, or has more authority than the library. The Board of Health can pass ordinances, which only the municipality can do. Otherwise, the library board can't pass ordinances, and neither can any of the other entities. Yeah, they set fees, they set, fees for licenses,
Regulations.
for example. all
How
kinds
we
of
issue
things.
food licenses, what we charge, all the regulations for all that is done by the Board of Health.
Any other discussion? Motion has been made and seconded, we've had discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Street President Ecology, Councilman Aaron.
No report, Mayor.
Fire, Councilman Massey.
No report, Mayor.
Finance, Councilwoman Fedisco.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to, on behalf of the Finance Committee, recommend resolutions 14-233 and 14-234. Basically, our office will be getting a credit card machine, which is something that I know the court and the police department have talked about and requested for a while, so this is coming to fruition. So those are the two recommendations I have for you tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
You have further report of finance, so I have a motion to accept.
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I just wanted to ask something. So does this mean that you can pay your taxes with a credit card?
What I got out of it.
We have the award and the proposal authorize us to put one of these machines in the finance office, which is the tax office, which is all in one place, the court, and the police department. We're not gonna put them all there, we're gonna put it in the court, and we're not gonna put it in the police department, because people can come over to us and pay. We're gonna leave it in the court for a little while and see how much it costs us, because, we wanna get an idea for the fees, because the resolution does say that we can pass a fee on to the people only for not municipal court. You're not allowed to add a, what do you call that kind of fee when you're in
Surcharge?
Transaction
Yeah,
fee?
right. You can't do it against the court rules to allow the court to do it, but we can do it, but I don't know what to make it, because I don't know how much it costs. Even though you have cost figures in the resolution,
Yeah.
it's based on a percentage of how much, and your taxes money is a lot of money, so you're gonna lose a lot of money of taxes for these fees. So right now, we're just putting it in the court. We have the provision to put it elsewhere, but we're just putting it in the court right now. Sandy and I are not really crazy about all these fees. We're concerned, a small borough like ours being impacted by those fees.
Yeah, I just wanted to second Lou's concern here. This is gonna be a real big problem, because what's gonna happen is, take the people who don't have mortgages in the borough, and I've seen this with tuition and all sorts of things. When there's no transaction fee, even if you have the money sitting in your bank account, you say, I can get 10,000 miles on my Amex card.
Yeah.
Let me go charge that, and I've seen universities crack down on this. So if you don't pass that along to other people, people are gonna be incentivized to actually use their credit card, because I have one credit card gives me 1% cash back. And if it's free, go ahead and do it. So we have to put something in there to share that. Otherwise, you're gonna get a free rider problem. You're gonna have a lot of people go ahead and say, hey, let me use this credit card. I'll get, makes my credit look better, and I get free miles or cash back on it. That's a problem.
We're not putting it in the finance department right now. We're not ready, Sandy and I are not ready for that. And before we would come to you and tell you that we want to put this fee on it. Because we're concerned about the impact, financial impact on the borough. So right now, it's just going to court, and the court thinks that they're going to be able to do better, because people who have fines and stuff, instead of, when they don't have the money, instead of paying $10 a month, they have a credit card, they pay the whole thing. And other municipalities, courts collect their fines better when they have credit cards.
Okay. Any other comments? May I have a motion to accept the report?
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Can't figure out where you were. Yeah, I know. Buildings and grounds, Councilman Petrozelli.
No report, Mayor.
Was and license, Council President Palmer.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a report. Tonight, there are 7 applications for raffle licenses. The committee recommends the adoption of resolution 14-221 for the application of 4 off-premise 50/50 raffle licenses to be drawn September 14th, December 7th, those are 2014, and May 8th, 2015, and June 7th, 2015 at the Church of St. Anne's. 325 Second Avenue, Garwood, by the Church of St. Anne. The committee also recommends the adoption of Resolution 14-222 for the application of one off-premise merchandise raffle, one on-premise merchandise raffle, and one on-premise 50/50 raffle to be drawn on October 16, 2014 at the Westwood 438 North Avenue, Garwood, by St. Joseph's Social Service Center. Also, the committee hereby approves Resolution 14-226, 14-227, 14-228, and 14-229, approving the 2014-2015 liquor license applications. That is all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. You have heard the report of laws and license. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes, recommendations there be adopted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Recreation, Councilman Petrozelli.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick note, just to remember, Summer Rec starts June 30th. And this year we have a new Summer Rec director, and that's going to be Dana Parkhill. That's all from my report.
You have heard the report of recreation. Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept. Be received and spread across the minutes.
Thank you. A second.
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 Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Committee on Aging, Council President Fowler.
Thank you, Mayor. Thursday is the senior summer party being held at the Westwood at noon, and they will be having a DJ as well as their annual hat contest. Also, August 21st is their annual ice cream sundae party at the firehouse. And if you're interested in attending either one of those, you can contact Paula Jogan, or you can contact me and I'll forward the information. That is all for my report.
Okay, you have heard the report of the Committee on Aging. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, library report, I have that right here. Library Board of Trustees had its last meeting. They take the summer off, the beginning of this month. I have a report here from the director of the library. The library will begin its 20th annual summer reading club. The theme this year is Fizz Boom Read, and many of the crafts will be science-centered, but still fun and entertaining. There will be crafts for kids on Tuesday afternoons at 3, and movies for kids Thursday afternoons at 2 for the duration of the program. Sign up for the program began on June 16th with logins of reading beginning yesterday, June 23rd. The program will run for 7 weeks ending on Friday, the 8th of August. All children are encouraged to participate from pre-reader through 8th grade. All active reading club participants will be invited to the library's end of summer ice cream party. The staff would like to remind Borough school students that they have set aside the required reading books for the middle and high school, and they'll be available all summer and may be placed on reserve if they are already checked out. And with the summer approaching, they wish to remind us that we can check out their ebooks. No heavy books to carry with you on vacation. Just download your favorite onto your favorite electronic device. Weekday library hours remain the same throughout the summer, except that the library will be closed on Saturdays during July and August, and the outdoor book drop will remain open 24/7 for your convenience. And that concludes my report. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. School Board Liaison, Councilwoman Tedisco.
No report, Mayor.
Celebration of public events and holidays, Liaison, Councilman Martin.
No report.
Union County Air Traffic Noise Advisory Board Representative, Councilman Matthews.
Actually, Mayor, I was not able to attend last night's meeting, but Councilwoman Tedisco was good enough to appear in my stead, so I'm just going to turn this over to her for her report.
Thanks, Councilman. It was actually pretty fun. I received the packet or the envelope rather, with the agenda for this meeting, so I guess it was just meant to be, because I haven't received those since 2011, when I was on there, go figure, but it worked out. So anyway, I even had the agenda in advance. Basically, the meeting was relatively short, began by electing officers. All three kept their positions, Jerry Fader as chairman, John Nicholas as vice chairman, and Rick Obrock as secretary. The board first discussed the pretty surprising development out of the FAA, that they are halting the airspace redesign project without giving a particular reason. We also learned that the Port Authority is setting up a meeting for June 30th about a Part 150 noise study of JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, and Teterboro. Our chairman, Jerry Fader, will be attending that meeting, even though not directly invited, so we'll see how much he has to crash that, I guess. The Newark Airport runway closure that has been going on since April has recently ended, and it was discussed, and we determined that it did not appear as though complaints really increased due to the closure. We also received an update on the Overlook Hospital helipad issue. It seems as though it's actually broken off into two main areas now. One is that the DOT approved the helipad, but the language in the approval made it appear to be contingent on the City of Summit's approval, which its zoning board did not approve. So when they actually went in to get their permits, the town turned them down and said, we are not giving you your permits because the zoning board did not approve. The Summit Council is appealing the DOT's approval itself. And on the other hand, Atlantic Health Systems, that's trying to get the helipad, is appealing Summit's original denial of its application for variances. So we'll have to see what comes out of those two things. And the next meeting would be in September. That's all for my report.
Thank you. You have heard the report of the Union County Air Traffic Noise Advisory Board representative. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Athletic Field Complex Project Committee representative Silva, like the council of one over here.
Want to move it along?
Yes, Councilor Petrozelli.
Thank you, Mayor. The monthly construction meeting was held today, June 24th. In attendance were Borough Administrator, Superintendent of DPW, professionals for the project, and planning and construction. Discussion took place on drainage for the baseball field, completing the roofing at the main building, installing the kitchen exhaust system, corners for the building, and the railings. The exterior and interior doors are scheduled to arrive June 30th. That's all from my report.
You have heard the report of the Athletic Field Complex Project Committee representative. Do I have a motion to accept?
Be received and spread across the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments?
And I'll steal Ann's thunder on this one. Do we have a new
We do
timetable?
not have a new schedule just yet because they're waiting for all the pieces to come in to finish before they can do that.
Okay.
But in probing Flanagan's a little bit, he kind of said, well, he probably needs about another month
Another month from,
I guess, our meeting today, which is today.
okay, another month from today, okay, so,
So like a couple weeks
No,
behind.
today?
no, from your meeting time.
Yeah,
Oh, from the meeting.
which is today.
Which was today.
Today.
Yeah, because it's in July.
But up until I get that in hand, it's just, he doesn't have the doors were supposed to arrive on the 23rd, now they're coming a week late. The roofing issue still has to be resolved, that's why it's not finished. It's about, putting a curve around the, kitchen exhaust, so.
Yeah,
Everything you've said so far is interior. How's the rest of the site?
As far as the landscaping?
Yeah, I mean, well, everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Is everything done outside?
And every plant is in, all the pathways are done. The multi-purpose field is 100%. They're gonna be setting the bases this week, on the baseball field. They're gonna be putting up the netting that goes behind the soccer goals on the multi-purpose field. All that's coming along. They got their, electrical inspection for the service. They've been in touch with public service to get the meter set in order to get power turned on. The last piece is obviously the building.
Right. This may not be a question for Lou, and I'm not sure exactly who it is. The committee put together to sort of develop the procedures. how are we in terms of having those done by the time the field opens?
We were almost there, Tina, we're,
I need one more piece of information, which is the cost of those things that we added last time, the lighting and then I'm gonna send it to Mr. Renaud. I can send someone out those figures, we can figure them out later.
Well, I got that today.
Okay, so email it to me, I'll finish it, send it to him. And the answer to your question is very likely.
we're almost there.
All right, then it'll come back here for discussion.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
it's an ordinance.
Right. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Officers' reports, Ms. Ariano, please read the officers' reports.
Chief of Police Bruce Underhill monthly report for May 2014. Municipal Tax Collector Aggie Creswell monthly report for May 2014. Municipal Court Administrator Martha Marino monthly report for May 2014.
May I have a motion to accept the officers' reports as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Public comment portion of the meeting. If there is anyone in the audience who wishes to address the mayor and council, please step to the microphones, sign in, state your full name and address, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. It would be appreciated. There's seeing no one rushing up to the microphone, pushing the other guy out of the way, so we'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. All right, consent agenda. Are there any resolutions that anyone would like eliminated from the consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, 14-235. May I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as amended, Mayor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Council President Palmer? Aye. Councilman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Matthews?
Aye.
Councilman Niersted?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroselli?
Aye.
And Councilman Fittis?
Aye.
Well, the only one that's not in there is now. Right. That's not.
All the other ones are,
I'm gonna read those all yes.
okay. All right, we'll start with resolution 14-235. Would you, please, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 14-235?
I'll make a motion to adopt
Well, you know
resolution.
what, I have to ever read it.
No, not that one.
No, not that one, okay.
Right.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 14-235.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. The reason I wanted to put that on non-consent was the discussion. I discussed this, you may recall last year, we had a similar resolution regarding a limousine. I'm gonna call it a business, okay, in a residential zone. This is a similar situation. And I've had discussions with the borough clerk and also with the borough attorney. And I believe, and I'm prepared to vote no on this, not because I'm opposed to the gentleman running a business, but I believe that these uses, in addition to needing the license, which is from the state, is also subject to local zoning. And I don't want to, and I gave the borough clerk an absurd example, and it is absurd, but I just want to mention it. I said if every resident in this town who owns a home came in and requested a license and satisfied the state requirements, would we therefore issue that license? And the answer was yes. And I understand the answer, I'm not disagreeing with that answer. But I believe they're subject to zoning regs. I would like this to actually go before the zoning board as a home occupation to get an understanding what the extent of this use is, how many cars, how it will be operated, for them to make a decision as to whether it's appropriate in a residential zone, and then send it back here for a license. So I'm prepared to vote no on this and direct the gentleman to go before the zoning board of adjustment for interpretation or for a variance if necessary.
I just want to mention, Councilman, that the other one that you referred to
Mhm.
took place actually your first year in office, and
Right.
it was, you had the same concern,
Right.
but it was determined that that was not an initial license, it was a renewal, and
Okay.
it didn't require your approval, so it was approved, and that particular license holder was not set before the board or anything like that, and it's probably in the same, I guess, non-zoning area.
Well, I disagree with the decision then, and I
Just
still
put it out there,
disagree.
just
I
let you know.
understand, has no bearing on this case.
Bob, what's your opinion on this issue?
Well, we had a number of discussions, and one of the things that Bill suggested was that perhaps we amend the ordinance, if you want to amend the ordinance to require some kind of a zoning approval, but my understanding is this is a license for one vehicle. It's a passenger automobile. You know, it's a sort of a gray area. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people that live in a house and have a business that, in a sense, runs out of the house. In other words, there's a lot of people that are plumbers, electricians, whatever. They live in a house, they have a truck, they get their telephone calls at the house, that maybe they have the phone number is there. That's the address that they list on their business cards. They leave the house, they go out and they do, you know, whatever it is that they do. I don't know that that's, you know, I would have this discussion, Bill thinks that's a business out of the house. I don't think it's ever been, I don't think they're generally construed that way, but, you know, this particular ordinance, it's a license. If somebody actually violated a zoning ordinance, if, for example, somebody wanted to file a complaint with the zoning officer, the fact that you're giving them a license, a limousine license, you're not the zoning officer or the Board of Adjustment. I suppose somebody can file a complaint, or the zoning officer can file a complaint that he's.
Well, this is gonna be my question, is why can't we go that route, Bill? Why can't you just file a complaint with our zoning officer?
We could go a number of routes, okay? My key thing, and I'm not objecting, okay, if we wish to issue this license, but put a condition on here that he submit an application to the Board of Adjustment. I just want to, see, Bob and I had a long talk, and I believe every use that he said is a business. And we've already opened up our residential zones to selling guns. So, you know, without going into that, I believe that when you have a residential zone, it's for residences. If we're gonna have that plumber, and that plumber has his truck, and everybody that has their trucks, that's not, after a while, it's not a residential zone. This license right here, it doesn't say one vehicle. So I'd like to.
It is, sorry.
It does, with all due respect, it
But
does,
I have
I would ask that this be amended to indicate that it's one vehicle. You know, it's all well and good to say that you don't disturb somebody, but the zoning board of adjustment is empowered with that responsibility to make sure there's no nefarious impacts from the use. And I think a limousine operation, guy goes out at 2 in the morning, comes back at 6 in the morning, you know, after a while, hey, what's the guy doing over there? I think you should go to the board. We want to make that a condition. I don't know, Bob, is that legitimate? Is there some way we can make him, we can direct the zoning officer to have him submit an application? It's residential zone.
As part of the license, no, I don't believe so. I mean, if you don't want to give them the license, vote against it, but I don't believe that adding a condition. But what you'd be saying is that anybody who does anything where they, well, the examples that I gave, for example, there'd be no basis for the Board of Adjustment to grant them. Everyone would be a D variance, so there'd be no legal basis.
That's true, and that's why we
So
have
they
zoning.
should all be turned down, so
If
if
you
you don't
have-
like it, vote against it.
Well, if you have that situation and you
Well,
want to.
you might as well simply deny it, because if they go to the Board of Adjustment, the Board of Adjustment has no business granting a variance if you need a variance.
Well, you and I are going to prejudge, but the bottom line is that they're supposed to look at impacts. If they feel there is no impact.
No, it's a
You
D
and I know-
variance, Bill. It's not a C variance,
You and
it's
I
a
know
D
special
variance.
reasons, and you and I know reality. Okay, and, you know,
Well, they may
You know
grant
how
it,
it
but
works.
there's no legal basis to
That's
D
not-
variance.
I understand that, we've been doing this a long time, I understand that. So, and it doesn't even have an address in here.
But it says right in the,
I must say, it does a sample resolution, one
Right.
resolution that I use, I don't write that resolution.
Right.
And it doesn't, the purpose of this is so that he can go to motor vehicles
it has
and
an
get,
address.
258 Second.
Right,
register his
and-
vehicle.
Right, and I know, okay, to be quite upfront with you, I sign those all the time, okay? The zoning officer has to sign those certifications to the state for car dealerships, limousines,
Right,
all those.
that's different. I don't sign those. I asked you about one recently,
Right.
if you recall.
Yeah.
I do not sign those. Those are different.
No additional
This is a different
application.
law.
No additional
That's the
application for
that's the used car thing you're saying.
Right, I don't
Yeah.
sign those because I'm saying that it's zoned for that. I won't sign that.
Right.
I had one on my desktop.
On that form, and I don't look at it every day, but on that form, it says limousine. I know limousine is on that form.
Because that's the name of it. The state says it's a taxi limousine license. That,
No, not that form, the zoning officer form, the one I'm talking about. There's about 8 or 10 different, you got car dealership, there's a number of different uses. And I believe limousine is on there, I really do.
Bill,
Yeah.
this is getting, the way that I would handle this is, I would file a complaint with the zoning officer. If I feel that he's running a business out of his house, I would file a complaint with the zoning officer and see how it's handled that way.
Okay, why don't we, at this point,
I don't know the code from the top of my head, but isn't there a provision for home-based
Home
business?
occupation, sure.
Yes, and
They could deem it a permitted home occupation.
isn't it in
I
our
don't
code that
necessarily
you
agree
can?
with Bob that it's a use variance.
Isn't
Could
it
be.
in our code that you can have a home occupation one that if you meet certain criteria, like,
Correct.
so does he
And the
violate
zoning
that
law-
criteria?
I don't know, it's up to the zoning
Well,
officer or
and
the
that's what I'm
zoning
saying,
board.
if the zoning officer goes out there and it's deemed that it's approved because he has one car or whatever he meets the criteria, then he meets the
It's the
criteria.
old chicken and egg, which comes first? Do you issue a license first and then do zoning, or do you zoning
That's the
first and
vote.
then license?
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth whereas. It does say that it indicates he will be the sole driver of said vehicle.
Said vehicle, where above does it say there's one vehicle there? I write lots of resolutions.
Said vehicle for the purpose
And
of
look
providing
above
his
to
one
see where it
driver, he
says-
can't drive more than one car at the same time. His address is also in here. At this point, obviously, we're not gonna get anywhere. The motion has been made and seconded. You know, I would at this point call for a vote. Yes, roll call, Sarah.
Council President Palmer?
Aye.
Councilman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Matthew?
Aye.
Councilman Niersted?
No.
Councilman Petrozelli?
Aye.
Councilwoman Tedisco?
Aye.
Okay. Other resolutions deleted from that did not appear on the consent agenda. Resolution 14-236, Ms. Ariano, will you please read that?
Yes, Mayor. Whereas an emergency has arisen with respect to repair and replacement of damaged leaking roof over the municipal court office and the police department. Also replacement of water damaged carpet in offices. And no adequate provision was made in the 2014 budget for the aforesaid purpose, and NJSA 40A4-46 provides for the creation of an emergency appropriation for the purpose mentioned above. And whereas the total amount of the emergency appropriations created, including the appropriation to be created by this resolution, is $70,000, and 3% of the total operating appropriations in the budget for 2014 is $200,005.850. Foregoing appropriation together with prior appropriations does not exceed the 3% of the total operating appropriations, including utility appropriations in the budget for 2014. And now therefore be it resolved by 2/3 of all governing body members affirmingly concurring that in accordance with NJS 48-448, an emergency appropriation is hereby made for roof repair, buildings and grounds contractual services in the amount of $70,000. That said emergency appropriation shall be provided for in full in the 2015 budget and is requested to be excluded from cap pursuant to NJSA 40A. And that 2 certified copies of this resolution will be filed with the Director of the Division of Local Government Services. That's all for that one.
May I have a motion to adopt resolution 14-236?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Lou, you're basing the request upon where we have one estimate right now?
Right now, there's one estimate, but we're getting more.
Yeah, I knew that more was coming, so basically, you're both covering yourself and hoping it'll be enough.
Yeah, it's gotta be enough, if the next estimate's more, then
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the 60.
Right.
And,
Are we tipping our hand by doing this? We're letting everybody else know what the bid is?
Obviously.
Yeah, why was this chosen to be done this way? Why couldn't we wait till all the bids were in?
Well, first of all, it's not bids. We're not going out for bid because there's no time to go out for bid. We need to repair the roof, it's damaged, it's leaking, it's damaging municipal equipment, and so there's no time to bid it, and there's no time for that process. So we got some quotes, which is what was mentioned by Councilman. And Fred is in the process of getting some more. I have to tell you, roofers are very difficult. We called a few of them, they said, we don't want your business, we're busy enough. But we're doing our best to get more. Why is it done this way is, it is an insurance claim. They have come and looked at it. They didn't tell me whether or not they're gonna pay it. But in order for me to fix the roof and not bid it, not go out for public bid, this is the mechanism that you have to do that. If you choose not to do this, then I will not authorize the roof to be fixed, and further damage will occur because it's a flat roof. We can't tarp it. It will leak more. There's state of New Jersey equipment in there that we're responsible for. So I am just telling you what you can do to fix this. Certainly not have any opinion as to, just so you know the facts. I have to fix the roof.
You guys did see the letter, from the court office about,
But that was a while ago.
Multiple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Well, we got two, right? I get two.
Well, I only recall one letter, but since then they've gone up there and they patched it, but the problem is that water is now underneath the roof, and it very well could have happened because of the winter. This is the shade side of the building, and, water is trapped inside the insulation of the building, on the roof. And, with every rainstorm that potentially comes, you're gonna have another, you could have, just another problem with the roof leaking. And then
Collapsing.
getting on top of, the equipment, at night, they're putting plastic over things. The carpeting has to come up because that has gotten wet now. We don't wanna have, any other issue.
Okay, I have a couple items. One is, people are working in this office. There has to be just a health concern at some point, right?
I believe that there is,
And just,
the potential for it is definitely there. There's mold, you can smell it in there.
right, I walked in there and I could smell something, and you see the stain on the floor, you see the ceiling. But, then the equipment factor, but just a couple finance questions. So right now, the insurance company is looking at this. If they pay, we get reimbursed, right?
Yes.
I'll let you go.
Unless you-
And what's the deductible? Is it 5,000 on
No,
this?
I think
or
it's
no?
1,000.
It's a
I
1,000.
think it's 1,000, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And then, 70,000 is a lot. That's $35 a home. So next year's budget, it could either be in the budget or could it be bonded if need be at that point? That doesn't have to be determined for a while, I'm
Right, I
assuming,
did
but.
reach out to Mr. Rogoff to find out the answer to that question, and, this is a emergency appropriation, so you could have put language in there to, go out for notes, but he said that, those notes on this kind of situation are due in 1 year, so there's no difference
Then the
between
budget.
that and putting this in next
Okay.
year's budget, but he did say, I told him, there's 2 resolutions, but there's another one after this, that he said that later on in the year, or early next year, when you're doing your budget, you find that you can't fund this, you can bond it.
Okay.
Do a bond for it.
So, financing, we have to deal with it,
Right.
how we deal with it, or
Maybe
how
we'll be
that.
able to pull it off and not.
Right, I would hope,
Yeah.
I would hope so. But I don't know, it just seems, it's an unfortunate thing that this has now fallen upon us, and it has such a huge price tag. But I feel like being that we've gotten this letter, I think I received maybe the same letter twice in my council packets.
I think there were 2 going around, but they were the same letter.
Okay.
I got one, and I think
But
Somebody else
definitely like,
distributed it. Like, I
okay.
think it went through the mayor or something like that, and I also distributed it.
Okay, so, you know, it was brought to our attention about a month ago, you know, and the patching's not working clearly. I mean, I don't see how we can ignore this issue, unfortunately, but, I mean, it seems like that.
That, obviously, with anything, now that we're aware, the worst thing that we can do is not take action.
Can I ask that, how much is it for a whole new roof?
I honestly don't know, Councilman, but
Whole new roof?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now, this is only probably about, not even a quarter of the roof in that one section. So I can imagine maybe double that money, you know, to do the whole roof, if not more.
Yeah, it's only a quarter, fine, yeah.
So what I'm saying, you know, the answer is not between $70,000 and doing nothing. What I'm trying to find out is, have we done reasonable diligence on this? I personally have not. I'm not qualified to make this determination. And I feel like we haven't done enough to try to get competitive bids. I mean, all due respect, leaky roofs happen a lot. They do. I mean, this one appears to be worse than anyone that's ever been on the face of the planet, but they do happen. They happen in homes, they happen in businesses. I actually have been the victim of a leaky roof 2 or 3 times in my life. So I don't think going from doing nothing to $70,000 really should be the only, and you'll hear the same complaints that I'm gonna give on another resolution, where I feel like we get railroaded with these fait accomplis. You don't vote yes, and you're the worst person in the world. But guess what? I reject that. You want my vote, you gotta go ahead and bring me up to speed on stuff. I ain't voting for this. This is a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of garbage. I feel we're gonna go ahead, authorize $70,000 outside of cap, and then solicit other bids? Come on. This is ridiculous. You wouldn't do this in your own home.
the only thing is the timing, because I can't take action, and authorize the roof repair without this in place. So, I don't want you to come to me a month from now and say, the roof caved in and killed 2 of your employees, and you didn't tell us what we could do to fix that in advance. So I'm making sure you know your options.
Well, then don't cancel the first meeting in July.
I'm not canceling it, Councilman.
I'm not talking to you. What I'm saying is don't cancel the first meeting in July. We have this, and we have a personnel matter.
Mayor, can we just?
Yeah, can we just like vote on this already? We've had a motion been made and seconded, there's been discussion, roll call, please. Ms. Allen.
Council President Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Niersted.
Yes.
Councilman Petroselli.
Aye.
Councilman Matthew.
No?
I'm sorry, Councilman, I skipped you, I'm sorry. Councilman Matthew and Councilwoman Tedesco.
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Mariana, next resolution, please read resolution number 14-237.
Whereas an emergency has arisen with respect to repair and replacement of a traffic light station, pole, fixture, and accessories at the corner of South Avenue and Center Street in the Borough of Garwood, and no added provision was made in the 2014 budget for the aforesaid purpose. And NJSA 4A provides for the creation of an emergency appropriation for the purpose mentioned above, and whereas the total amount of the emergency appropriation created, including the appropriation created by this resolution, is $40,000, and 3% of the total operating appropriations in the budget for 2014 is $850,000. Whereas the foregoing appropriation, together with prior appropriation, does not exceed 3% of the total operating appropriations in the budget for 2014. Now therefore be it resolved by 2/3 of all governing body members affirmatively concurring that in accordance with NJSA 40, an emergency appropriation is hereby made for South Avenue traffic light, buildings and grounds, contractual services in the amount of $40,000, and that said emergency appropriation shall be provided for in full in 2015 budget, and is requested to be excluded from tax pursuant to NJSA 40A4-3. And that 2 certified copies of this resolution will be filed with the Director of the Division of Local Governments. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt resolution number 14-237?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
A couple, yeah, 2 silly questions. Pole's already been replaced.
No.
No.
It's not been put up?
No.
What's it, temporary?
No, what's up there right now is just a 10-foot pole to drag the wire out, and they put up a temporary light on the utility pole over by the station.
Wow.
This
Right,
is a
and-
real problem,
Yeah.
because you don't see that light now when you're coming down Center, and the same thing when you're traveling east on South Ave.
Right, and this obviously also is being submitted for insurance, I mean, and this is certainly gonna be paid back.
This will definitely be
Yeah.
paid, and the reason why this resolution is before you is because when I called the auditor and the bonding attorney about the other resolution, I mentioned this matter, and he said, you better do that one for that one too, just in case you don't recover that money, then you would have spent money in violation of law, and, I.
Makes sense.
Right, so, but I believe, it's already at the insurance company, they're already pursuing the driver. They're already gonna, our insurance company's gonna pay us and go after him.
Right.
So I really don't have any worry about
Right,
this.
Okay, any other discussion?
No, ma'am.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. We've had discussion, roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Council President Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Mearstead.
Yes.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
And Councilwoman Tedisco.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution 14-238. Ms. Ariano, please read that resolution.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Borough of Garwood hereby accepts the proposal from CFO Treasurer Strander Bruns for reduction in salary to $30,000 without benefits for continued responsibility of the duties of the Office of the Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer in accordance with state statutes and the code of the Borough of Garwood.
May I have a motion to adopt resolution 14-238?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I just want to, I'm going to abstain from this. That executive session was extremely uncomfortable. I have legal questions that I posed that were not answered. I have objections to this particular arrangement. I think we're encumbering the borough with an employment situation, the ramifications of which we do not understand. Mayor, I urge you, as part of that procedure committee that I asked about, we gotta go ahead and we gotta stop these fait accompli railroad resolutions that happen right before we vote on them, okay, because I find them offensive. And anyone who votes yes on this is voting yes without understanding the full ramifications of what they're doing, okay? I'm gonna abstain from it because I think that we've been put in a very bad situation here, all right, but this is ridiculous. There's no way you're getting a yes vote from me on this, okay? And anyone who goes ahead and votes for this, I want people to know here in the public, if something blows up on here, you can go after all the people who went ahead and voted yes on this, because they didn't understand what was going on.
Mayor, if I may, Mr. Renaud, I don't know how much, since it was an executive session, you can shed light on this, but if you could, that would be appreciated. In terms of
What we're voting on?
what we're voting on and, you know, why we are,
I know Mr. Renaud has answers, but I'd like to make a statement in defense of myself and the councilman's comments about railroad resolutions. I try very, very hard to get everything to you before a council meeting. There are times where things come to me in between that time, and I cannot get them to you before Friday. However, if I don't tell you and don't advise you of the situation, and then you find out and you say to me, why didn't you tell us? I'm gonna say, because I was afraid of Councilman Matthew accusing me of railroading resolutions. You have to understand that I have a responsibility as your administrator and municipal clerk, and I will I try not to give you resolutions like this, because I do feel that there is a lot in front of you to take in and make a decision on. However, that is your responsibility as elected officials, because I can't make these decisions. They have to be done by you, and if you don't have the information in front of you, then I'm remiss in my responsibilities. And this is not me railroading you, or seducing you, or tricking you. This is me being responsible to my responsibilities.
This resolution time is of the essence.
Right, exactly.
and the issue was brought to our attention in our Friday packet as well. It wasn't dropped on us a couple hours ago or earlier today.
Right.
It was brought to our attention on Friday.
And I think that Councilman Matthews already said too much about the executive session, and I would say, Bob, I don't think you need to answer that question.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything unless somebody has a specific question, quite frankly.
Right.
Because
So-
I don't have a speech.
I'm clear on what I'm voting on.
So, Mayor, can we just please have a
Agreed.
vote?
Yes.
And I would say, Mr. Knott, do you feel that we are doing anything improper by voting tonight on this resolution?
It really isn't my decision to make.
That's
No,
just-
you're not doing anything illegal in voting on the resolution. It's not an improper resolution, if that's what the question is.
That
But
is-
as the administrator said, these are your decisions, not mine.
Right, and honestly, I wish we had a lot of more time on them, but something we just have to deal with
A
sometimes.
motion been made and seconded, we've had discussion, roll call, please, Ms. Mariano.
Council President Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Matthews.
Abstain.
Councilman Niersted.
Yes.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
And Councilman Fidisco.
Aye.
Okay. Ready to move along?
Yes.
Resolution number 14239, will you please read that resolution?
Yes, Mayor. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of Borough of Garwood, County of Union, State of New Jersey, that the first regular meeting for the month of July 2014, scheduled for July 8, 2014, is hereby canceled. Be it further resolved, the next meeting of the Mayor and Council will be held on July 22nd, 2014.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 14-239?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 14-239.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, and unbelievable, I can't believe this is being proposed. We have this personnel issue that's going on right now, which we put a Band-Aid on it. Even if you voted yes for this, you can't say it's resolved. And we got this roof issue, where we got bids coming in. This, you know, all due respect, you got two people who've got personal functions, I understand that. Don't cancel the meeting. The borough's bigger than two people's personal schedules. You gotta have a quorum plus the mayor. Unbelievable. I can't believe this is even being proposed.
Any other
Well,
discussion?
I would just like to say, as I stated earlier, I always favor more meetings rather than less, even though that sometimes makes it more time consuming, that's fine by me. And so, I will be voting no because I totally support having the July 8th meeting. Again, I understand things come up for people, but, and that happens and that's okay, but if we have a quorum and we intend to have a quorum, then let's have the meeting as we should.
Any other comments?
The only comment, Mayor, is, with all due respect to my fellow councilmen, we generally cancel one meeting over the summer. There's no set rule or procedure as to which one. We've all discussed the fact that we will make the other 3 meetings. If we know that there are 2 members who will not be able to make this meeting, and the borough clerk has advised us that there's nothing pressing, with all due respect to Councilman Matthew, we are not receiving bids, Jim. Okay, so I know
There's nothing pressing. Did you hear what just happened the last 10 minutes?
Yes, I did.
There's nothing pressing, and you're gonna blame the clerk because she
not
told you.
blaming the
There's
clerk.
there's nothing, excuse me, sir.
Excuse me.
You're gonna go ahead and say there's nothing pressing after you just participated in the last 10 minutes of this meeting.
Yes.
I can't believe that.
Mr.
A lot of things I can't
Matthews,
believe you do,
Mr.
Jim.
Neerstead is permitted to have his say as well as you're permitted to have yours, which you did. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion from anybody else? Anyone want to chime in? Nobody's stepping up to say anything else. Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Council President Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Matthews.
No.
Councilman Niersted.
Yes.
Councilman Petrozelli.
Aye.
Councilman Fidisco.
No.
July 18th.
The non-meeting is canceled.
Under new business. We have any resolutions?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Under new business, is there any, I have some new business. Does the council have any new business?
No, Mayor.
Okay. We have 2 appointments this evening. One is Ryan.
I'm sorry, Mayor, can we just back up 1 second? I
Yeah.
thought under new business you were gonna appoint the parking committee.
I'll get to that.
Oh, I thought you just went past new
No,
business.
no, I'm on new business. And under
She has to do
appointments
that.
come under new business.
I'm sorry,
Okay, it's all right.
I'm sorry.
It's almost 11 o'clock, it's okay.
Yeah, we're all tired. On to the appointments first, because it's right
Okay.
here. Brian Palmer to the Municipal Alliance, term expires 12/31/2014. and Joanne Sarelson to the Municipal Alliance. Term expires 12/31/2014. As you can see, the next is the appointment of a residential commercial parking investigation committee.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay? All right. I gave this quite a bit of thought because we have a lot going on in the borough and I want to bring the right people in and include the public as well. The committee at this time will consist of Council President Palmer representing laws and license, former Councilwoman Bellagio representing the planning board, but also her committee for downtown redevelopment is involved with this. Councilman Petrozelli, buildings and grounds, obviously because any kind of parking situation will involve buildings and grounds. From the police department, it will be Officer Morelli, as he is the traffic officer. And from TAB, Mr. Aaron Beck, who you all met earlier this evening. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individuals on the committee at this time. And you guys can get together. And I'm not going to appoint a chairperson. I think amongst yourselves you can come up with who has the best time. But I am going to ask Ms. Ariama if you can, we'll send some emails out.
Sure.
And get everybody together.
Sure.
And establish some availability.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Payment of claims, Ms. Ariana, please read the payment of the resolution.
Be it resolved, the following claims as approved be in the same amount hereby ordered paid when properly signed and verified, and the payment of payroll as listed is hereby confirmed and allowed.
May I have a motion to adopt payment of claims?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Ms. Ariana.
I'm sorry, who seconded it, Mike?
Yeah.
Council President Palmer?
Aye.
Councilman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Matthews?
Aye.
Councilman Thursday?
Yes.
Councilman Petrozelli?
Aye.
And Councilman Felice.
Aye.
The workshop session and regular meeting of mayor and council scheduled for Tuesday, July 8th, 2014 is hereby canceled. The next regular meeting of the mayor and council will be held on Tuesday, July 22nd. Councilman Hurstad's birthday.
You're the
In council
bring
chambers
You're the bring Okay.
at 7:15
Okay.
p.m. Workshop session to start at 7. There will be a public hearing in council chambers on bond ordinance number 14-11 on Tuesday, July 22nd at 7:15 p.m. or soon thereafter. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.